Hello, this is wmpyr, and this is a response video to Loyal2law. His video was basically about the Filipino martial arts, and it was on a dilemma between these guys that go full contact with the eskrima sticks, and they're wearing full protection, okay, versus the guys that go with hard contact, not necessarily full contact, but pretty hard contact. They have the eskrima sticks and they have no protection at all. So, the plus and minus between the two, the comparisons and stuff like that. So that's what he was talking about. It's an excellent video. Please check it out. All right, so I'm here to give my 2 cents, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it to, instead of Filipino martial arts, into martial arts in general, because I believe that this can be applied to all martial arts styles. And basically the discussion here is about reality-based self-defense versus combat sports. Okay, so that's the way I kind of modified it. Okay, and because it's kind of a complex subject, I took some notes just to keep everything coherent. So I'm going to be looking over here. Okay, so all right, the first thing is people criticize sport and they say it's not realistic. My first statement is realistic is not necessarily better. Okay, case in point, you hear about people saying that if you are a runner, the way you train is you're going to have to run. Okay, if you're a swimmer, the way you train is you're going to have to swim. But in this case, what we're talking about with the martial arts is we're talking about combat, we're talking about self-defense, we're talking about fighting. Okay, we can't have like 5 guys jump me every day. I can't do that. I can't get into street fights every day. This is ridiculous. This is a very stupid way to train if that's what you're doing. All right. Uh, so we're gonna focus on the martial art, the art part. Okay. And simulation requires imagination and creativity. All right. Imagination and creativity. That's art. That's simulation, and that's what we do. Okay. And that's what's really going on here. Sport people, I feel like they're not given the credit that they deserve from non-sports martial arts people. Oftentimes, they don't get the credit that they deserve, and I feel like it comes from jealousy. These people don't want to risk reputation. It's their excuse not to train so hard because I feel like, why don't you go do it? If they're like sport, and they blow it off like it's nothing. If it's nothing, go win a tournament. Let's see it. If you're that awesome, let me see it. They can't. They won't. I'll be the first to admit it. All right. I train reality-based self-defense. I train with weapons. I train with the knives, all kinds of weapons and stuff. All right. But if I could enter a hand-to-hand combat tournament, all right, and win it, I would have. All right. I've missed my opportunity, basically. I'm too old for that now, and I wish I could have, and I definitely thought of the idea. I didn't pursue it, but let me tell you something. I understood, even back in the day, back in my prime, that if I did pursue it, even if I gave 100%, focused all my energy on it, I still may not win, all right? Or it's going to take that much effort to do it, and it's going to take a lot of time, and I'm going to get injured and blah, 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 blah. And I just weighed the benefits, and for me, it wasn't for me. Okay, that's all I have to say. But just because it wasn't for me, I still give it respect. And let me tell you, I would have liked a nice gold medal or a nice championship belt, just sporting one like that. Of course, I would like that. I would have, all right? I'm just saying that it's that difficult. It's not easy. So you got to give it respect, all right? There was this excellent martial arts story that a friend of mine told me, and I'm going to butcher it, but I'll try my best to tell it to you guys. Basically, there was this martial arts expert, and he decided to go up to a mountain. And he went up a mountain and lived there, and he trained there so he could just be totally focused on perfecting his technique. And he trained every day up in the mountain, no distractions, all right, and trained hard in that hard environment, okay? And he felt ready. He felt like he perfected his craft. He came down the mountain. The first guy he encountered was a tea master. So he goes to the tea master and he's like, pour me some tea. And the tea master is like, you're up in the mountain. what were you doing there? And he's like, I'm a martial arts master. I was perfecting my technique. And the tea master's like, oh, yeah? Well, check this out. And he gets a coin with a hole in it, and the tea master gets a tea and pours it through the hole of the coin, a small coin with a real small hole, and pours it into the cup, pours the tea into the cup without spilling a drop, all right? His hand was that steady. He was that focused, and he did that, all right? Martial arts expert, the guy that came down the mountain, he got pissed. He was like, are you kidding me? I could kill you with one blow. Yeah, the team master's like this old guy, never trained martial arts before or anything like that, all right? So anyway, this guy gets really mad at the team master, blah, 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 blah. And I think he had a challenge match or something, and it didn't go too well. So anyway, he goes back up to the mountain, okay, and he's meditating. He's meditating up in the mountain, and he gets enlightened. He realizes that he was arrogant, and basically the tea master skill of being able to pour with a steady hand and his lethal technique, whatever it was, to be able to kill with a single blow, all right, is no different. Skill is just skill, all right? So he comes down the mountain, and the first thing he does is he apologizes to the tea master. How awesome is that, So I think that's the moral of the story here. Okay, that's the main focus that's going on here. But anyway, let's move on. All right. Okay. The other thing that's commonly said is they say if you train in combat sports, you're gonna get yourself killed in the street. If you try to use that stuff in the street, you're gonna get killed because that's for sport, and there's referees and there's illegal moves and blah 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 blah, and you will get murdered on the street. All right. This is the common statement that I hear. This is what they want you to believe. And what backs that is the saying, you fight how you train, all right? And, one of the things that I have to say is, look at boxing, all right? If you look at boxing, they jump rope, okay? Skip rope, whatever you want to call it. Do you know who else jump ropes a lot? Little girls jump rope a lot, all right? Does that mean that a boxer is like a little girl and is going to be jumping around when he fights? No. No, it's totally different, all right? Totally different, okay? But if you look at most professional boxers today, their jump rope skill is so high that it's like almost like a professional jump roper or a skip rope or whatever it's called. You know what I mean? But, it's not so literal, all right? You cannot dismiss it that easily, saying however you train is exactly the way you fight. It's not that easy. It's not that black and white, okay? Now, I do believe that, it does take a certain ability to be able to transfer what you train in into street, into self-defense, into, combat. It does take a certain ability. Some people can do it better than others, all right? So that is just the nature of it. But at the same time, I don't think you have to be so fear-minded and so fearful, like, oh, I'm training wrong. If you're training long-term and if you have the right attitude, then your martial art and your path should be self-correcting. Nobody starts off perfect. Everybody makes mistakes, but you learn from your mistakes, and as you go, you get better and better. So I don't see the problem, all right? Why act so fearful, all right? I think it's just a sales pitch. Don't train in sports. Come train with me, train in reality-based self-defense. Once again, I feel it's a sales pitch, all right? Now, another good example is Oscar, I think it was Oscar de la Hoya, okay? It was an interview, and they said, at the time, I think he was extremely dominant, the most dominant boxer in his weight class, and a superstar, all right? He seemed unbeatable, and they said to him, like, you're unbeatable. How would you fare on the street? And he said, no, I don't do that. I don't do street fights, and I would get killed. I believe he said something like that. And, at first I was like, what? You're Oscar de la Hoya, man. You would own guys on the street, man. These guys on the street that don't know what they're doing and they just want to jump you, you'd kill them. Oscar de la Hoya could probably knock out a guy that's 300 pounds, I couldn't, but he can. And we're about the same build. So I was like, man, come on, man. But then I started thinking about it. And I thought, this is a very smart man. Okay, if someone told me there is a crazy guy out there in the street who wants to murder your family. All right. So I go out. I was actually in a similar situation, but anyway, that's for another time. So I went out. Okay. So I go out, and the guy I see that wants to kill my family is Oscar de la Hoya. All right. I recognize the face. Do you think I'm gonna box him? No. Do you think I'm gonna use my Eskrima stick if I had it? For sure. If I had a knife, yes. So when he said on the street I would get killed, I think he's right. I think that's very, very smart of him to say that. So, he put his ego aside and said that. He did not confuse the two. Very smart man. So anyway, uh, okay, as a conclusion, I recommend to train in both if you can. Why not? All right. If you do sport with the armor, all right, I say just make sure that you understand what you are doing is sport and it's not street. The mindset can be street. Remember, this is simulation. So the mindset can be street. The mindset, you could be thinking life or death, all right, in competition. Lots of competitors do that, all right. It's intense, okay. But the strategy and the actual techniques, they can differ, all right, obviously from street and sport. If you do no armor contact fighting, okay, then just remember that is also, it's not street. It's still a simulation, all right? You could still put a chair. We could have a brick wall. We could have broken bottles on the ground. You know what I mean? It's still not street. And what is street? Street is, it's anything. Is a drive-by shooting? Is that the street? I mean, is that a street fight, five guys jumping at you with a baseball bat? What if you pull out an assault rifle? I mean, it's too crazy, okay? So, there's no base then, okay? So anyway, just remember that that's not street either, okay? It can still be lacking the intensity, aggression, cruelty, and other things, all right? So the bottom line is that both parties, to me, should understand that what they do is a simulation, and they shouldn't have this ego that what they do is more realistic. Basically, by saying what I do is more realistic than what you do, is saying what I do is better than you. Mine is more effective. That's essentially what people are saying, okay? And that's ego talk, really. So, I feel like basically, you know, you don't have to do both, but you should give respect to both, or you shouldn't knock what you don't do. You know what I mean? If you don't do it, and if you don't have a whole lot of experience at it, you shouldn't be knocking it, okay? In fact, you should try to look at it realistically and see the plus and the minus. The same with the people that they like I see some MMA fans and stuff that they've never trained in MMA. They've never even trained in any kind of combat sport, and they're like, "Oh man, GSP man, or Randy Couture, he'd kill anybody." Okay, like you really don't know what you're talking about here. So people like that need to shut up. It's not respectful either. So those are my 2 cents, and I hope it helps. And thank you for watching, and take care.